Come on, guys. Really? Not everything is roughing the passer. He hit him too high. He hit him too low. He hit him too excessively. In football?
He hit him
How do you
too.
hit some?
He hit him really late when literally like the ball is coming out his hand.
Right.
And a split second later, he hits him. It's
Right.
like it's bang bang. Like what the?
I love the Kevin Hart.
Again, what do you want him to do? Just stop?
Yeah.
I love the Kevin Hart on SNL where he's like, no, you put me down too fast. Put me down too fast. Like when they put him down on the pillow, put him with a blanket. Say night.
Night.
Yeah, buddy. We're back again here for another week. Cinco Squad, episode 83. My name is Jonathan Sora. With me are my brothers, Trey Day, Grandpa Jay, and Mike. Fellas, happy Thursday. How's the week going so far?
Cold.
Yeah, it's getting pretty cold. Both in temperature and in my patience.
Patience beyond boiling, bro.
Patience beyond boiling. As you can see, if you go check out our socials, please go check that out. But other than that, I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing good. We got a lot, all the sports leagues starting up. We got college basketball 3 days away. Can't wait. We got NBA, NHL, NFL, college football.
I got a quick shout out. I got to shout out the Philadelphia Flyers. I got to shout them out. And I got to shout out that arena. You know why? Because they let my guy Wally, the support alligator, in. That's something the Philadelphia Phillies didn't lose. And that's why the Philadelphia Phillies are losers right now. Because they didn't let my guy Wally in. Wally, support alligator. I'm all for support alligators. Let that in. If you didn't see it, fans, please check it out. The guy is amazing. He comes out. He got to hang out with the mascot. They had him on the screen. He just brings a good vibe, man. I'm messing with Wally right now.
Wally, the support alligator.
Wally, the support alligator.
The support alligator. Well, go check that out.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it was
Either.
Wally, the mascot that's like the best mascot in the world. Isn't that the name of the mascot, Wally?
What, the Flyers?
Yes.
Gritty.
It's Gritty.
Gritty, yes.
He's hanging with Gritty. They have him on the camera.
Oh, then that's a duo of its own. So now, Trey, did you just pick your NHL team?
They're getting close. I don't know if it's going to be them.
No.
Come on, Philly Pride.
No,
Come
Trey.
on, Philly Pride.
Come on.
My
For
Philly pride.
the hockey
Not here
fans,
with that
comment,
shit.
shout out. Who should I become an NHL fan of? We don't have a team in Cleveland, so y'all let me know who else to be a fan of.
Tell them right.
The Monstars.
Suffering succotash.
John, you
They're
almost, John, you are just as
Monstars.
bad as my boy Scott from the Virgin Islands.
What?
This was the list of his teams. The kid was a Georgia football fan.
Yeah.
Then he liked the Minnesota Vikings. He was a San Antonio Spurs fan, which is the only one I stood for because Tim Duncan was from the Virgin Islands. And he also liked I can't remember his basketball team, but none of it made sense. He was on every dot on the map all over the place. It's like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, well, I like this or I like that. It's like you're all over the damn place with your teams.
Jamie, you
What?
change your NBA team every single fucking
No,
year.
I don't.
Your
Who's your
team
current
retired.
NBA?
Who's your current NBA? Because we went to the Heat game. You're like, I'm a big OKC fan. Now, last year, you're what? You're a big.
He's a Suns fan.
He was
I'm
Suns
not a
fan
Suns fan. I like D Booker. There's a difference. Bro, I've been suffering as an OKC fan from the moment Seattle drafted Kevin Durant, and then he changed that damn jersey to OKC jersey. Then I didn't give a shit about any teams in basketball anymore. For me personally, I just started watching the game. Bring Seattle Supersonics
So
basketball.
I was saying, so when it comes down to it, you're still a Supersonics fan.
Hell yeah.
He retired in 90. What was it? 92 they went away or whatever?
What the hell are
No.
you talking about, bro?
When did they go away? I don't know.
29 years old.
As you can see, I'm not the
2000
NBA expert.
About 2004, 2005 in that time.
Oh, okay. That's right. Kevin Durant was drafted.
Yeah, Durant played.
Might be 3 or 4. Yeah.
Played like one season for them, right?
Yeah,
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah,
So,
oversized
Yeah.
8th
Technic-
grader jersey.
Technically, Russell Westbrook is their last draft pick, but they became the Thunder before he ever played a game in Seattle.
well, look, but here's the thing. You keep saying was to your friend. He was a fan. I'm still a fan of all my teams. And I picked my teams when I was really young. Really young. Picked Michigan because of Mike Hart. Red Wings because of Stevie Y back in the 90s, winning those championships. Eagles because of my boy, McNabb. You know, the Yankees, of course, because my grandfather got me into that. So I mean, I picked all my teams for a reason. Syracuse, just because I bleed orange, man. I'm from Syracuse. That's my hometown. So
yeah, that's the one I get.
the Heat was honestly Dwayne Wade. When I watched him play in the 03 Final Four, I was like, damn, this dude's really good.
We're good. Moving on.
So I was like, oh,
we
man.
good. We good. Moving
so,
on.
No, you make me explain every single time. You're gonna sit there and listen to it.
Yeah, well, I picked my teams because New York.
Well, I know what is good every single week is what's on Mike's mind. So let's start over Mikey Mike and see what's on his mind this week.
Well, Trey, it's funny that you just so happen to have praised the NHL because I have a hockey fact this week. All right, you guys got to bear with me here. It's a little bit of math, but I'll take you through it. Okay, so Connor McDavid, widely considered the best player in the NHL and best player in the world today, entered this season with 850 career points. He's got 9 so far this year, but entered the year with 850 career points. And a 106.25 points per season average. If he plays as many seasons as Wayne Gretzky, just 21, he'll finish with 2,231 career points, leaving him still 626 points short of Wayne Gretzky. Mathematically, if he continues that average for the rest of his career, it would still take McDavid nearly 6 more seasons to catch Gretzky. So he'd have to play 27 years.
And still score over 100 points.
And still, at that 106 pace.
Which
for
is
27 years.
Jesus.
I mean, Wayne didn't even do it. He just did the 200 mark. He said, I'm going to make it
easy. I'm just going to get
I'm going to get this shit in like 3 seasons with 200 plus points. And then, all right, then I'll just kind of like coast in the last few years.
Yeah. As a side fact, Wayne Gretzky, I believe, has 8 of the top 10 points in a season all time. It's insane.
Can I just say having him on the panel and the TNT panel has been awesome. Listen to his takes. But I think it's not fair. I've always been saying this. It's not fair. I don't mean to take over what's on your mind. Because, you're listening to the greatest player. Who cares what the Anson Carter says? Who cares what whatever his name says? The great one says something and they disagree. It's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Who are you to tell Wayne Gretzky he's wrong about hockey?
Here's my stats. Here's yours.
Anson Carter, congrats on your roughly
pages.
Congrats, Anson Carter, on a solid career of about, I think, 400 to 500 points, maybe less than that. I scored more goals than that, sir, by like 400.
Call me sir, God.
Call me,
but he is,
sir.
But he is really good on that panel, though. He's very like understanding of their takes and stuff like that. So I really do enjoy hearing him talk hockey on the TNT panel. It's almost like Shaq and Ernie on there, or Shaq and Charles. And
yeah. I always do like hearing his takes. But you know what other takes I always like hearing, guys? I always like hearing Jamie's takes with his locks of the week. Jay, take it away.
What's going on, good people of the world? I told you guys last week we playing it safe, and what we do, 3-0, baby, perfect week. Yes, we went safe, but sometimes after you're going through a slump, you got to take it safe. Are we doing that for 2 weeks in a row? Hell no, we're not doing it for 2 weeks in a row. We're going on the risky side this week, but guess what? You got to risk it for the biscuit. So where am I starting this week? We're going straight to college football, and here's what I know will happen with Bama and LSU. Bama's defense playing great. Actually, they're ranked second right behind Michigan in the metrics. I like that because Michigan's defense, even though we know how they got that good this season, still is playing great when it counts. They still have to make plays, even though they had a little bit of maybe not. Whatever. Bama's players, different story. No stories about anybody filming stuff on the sidelines, knowing what's coming next. Those are ballers out there. We know Bama, and we know their reputation. When Bama starts to really play well, we're talking about a juggernaut of a defense there. LSU's defense sucks right now. That line opened at 6 for some reason. Everybody jumped on it, and it dropped to 3. Take Bama at 3. Bama beats LSU by a touchdown this weekend at least, because I don't like what LSU's defense has been doing. And even though Bama's offense isn't impressive, they'll find a way to win that game at home by at least a touchdown. Then let's take it out to the West Coast. We have what might finally be the eye test that everybody needs because we're so East Coast biased to know who Michael Penix Jr. is. Yes, MPJ, call him as the Heisman at the beginning of the year. He finally gets to take on the reigning Heisman winner from last year. That's Caleb Williams. This is going to be a great game. Here's what we know. There's going to be no defense. 76.5 points. Should have been 89, maybe even 91 points. Give me the points. Love 76.5. Winning team gets to 40. Losing team might almost get to 40 as well. No chance they're not hitting that 76.5. Then on Sunday, I could have chose a lot of safe games. I could have said, well, the Bengals are on a streak. Looks like the Bengals are going to beat the Bills. Definitely looks like the Ravens are going to destroy the Seahawks at home because the Seahawks can't play on the road this year. But you know what I really like? I kind of like what the points are for that Vikings-Falcons game right now. Falcons offense sucks with DeRidder at the helm. That guy loves to turn the ball over, almost like he wants his defense to go out there and play so one of the defenders can get considered for Defensive Player of the Year. Then you got Dobbs coming in, has no idea what's going on with that offense. It's going to be run, or RPO all day long. They're going to have dink and dunks all day long. So we're talking 37.5 points, I believe, right now. That's probably going to go down to somewhere 34 because everybody's going to jump on it. Take it while you can now. Take the under in the Vikings-Falcons game. If the winning team gets to 20, I'll be shocked. 17-14, take the Falcons to win by a field goal. It's the under, but forget about the Falcons winning the game. Take the points, baby. So, to give you a recap, Bama over LSU. It's at -3 right now. Bama wins by a touchdown. Points galore in the Washington-USC game at 76.5. Go the over. And then, since we don't know if there's any true quarterback on the field, and no offense to Dobbs or DeRidder, but hey, they haven't looked impressive at all this year. Falcons and Vikings game, it's at 37.5 points. Take the under, baby. That is the lock for the week.
And Jay, just so you know, Desmond Ridder was benched today.
Well, excuse me for that.
So it'll be Taylor Heineke playing for him.
So we got the battle of the backups down there taking place in Atlanta this weekend. Woo, crazy fans, get out there and support your Falcons. Can't wait to see those backups go at it. I mean, that's really been like almost the theme of the season in the NFL this year, right? I mean, we're to the point now where we're on backup number 12 or 13
for Atlanta.
No, I'm just saying in general throughout the league.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's been the
throughout the league. Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, we had a topic a couple of weeks ago about that, and just talking about which backup would you trust, and it's at this point they're getting a lot of reps in.
yeah,
it's crazy.
A lot of teams having to make that decision which backup they trust because.
All right, so here we are. First station of the rankings come out, and screw you guys about SEC bias because Georgia is sitting at number 2. I'm not too sure why, and Paul Fine-Baum as well is not too sure why. But funny enough, I was kind of pissed off with his argument. Just to, almost in the sense like he was trying to downplay the Big Ten, and no surprise, right? Big SEC bias guy. You know, he's there saying, why the heck is Ohio State sitting at 1 when they beat Penn State, and then they also have another top 15 win within the conference, and like those are nothing. Like, who are Notre Dame? It's Notre Dame and Penn State they beat, and they're saying, well, those wins mean nothing. But they're top 15 teams, and they're the only team that's beaten 2 top 15 teams right now in these current new college football playoff rankings. So since when are all of a sudden you're discarding that? I mean, I know for sure if it was the other way around and Georgia had beat 2 of the teams sitting in the top 15, let's say, for instance, like an LSU and somebody else, he would have argued it for the whole other way, meaning, of course, Georgia deserves to be sitting there at number 1. They've beaten 2 top 15 teams this year. So my thing with people who come on board and you're asked to be a national credible source for the sport is you could not show bias in that situation. And Paul Fine-Baum clearly showed bias today for whatever the reasons being. We know that he's just a down south guy, SEC all the way. This guy's going to bleed SEC. But I found today that it was pretty ignorant for him to bring that point up and say Ohio State doesn't deserve it because those teams suck even though they're in the top 15. I mean, Mikey, I know you're hating this guy right now because we're talking about Notre Dame sucking, and they don't suck. I mean, look, we know they're not CFP ready. But is there any really clear-cut number 1 in college football right now? If you guys think so, go ahead and let me know who you think it is, because here's what I think. Ain't nobody a number one right now. You still got to prove it.
As Jay alluded to in his college football rankings rant, they were released yesterday or on Tuesday. I'm sorry. And as a resident Michigan fan, I'll just keep my thoughts until my turn. But I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Trey Day because he's got the banner raised already. How's it feel up there on the mountaintop?
I mean, truthfully, I don't give a damn about the first ranking. It doesn't really mean shit. At the end of the day, we still got to beat Michigan. We still got to go undefeated, make sure we actually get in. So, everybody puts a lot of attention to that first ranking, and how many times does it not really play out the way or a team gets back in who wasn't in it? Ultimately, when it's all said and done, the reason I do think we deserved one, I'm not going to say we always been the most impressive, but I do think we had a great defense, and I think our schedule has actually been tougher than people give credit. Maryland has been a much improved team. A lot of people don't necessarily see it that way. Penn State has been good. Notre Dame has been good. So we have actually, I'm going to give you credit now, Notre Dame.
Thank you.
Yeah, Notre Dame's been good. We beat Lou Holtz. We shut him the fuck up. So, if we, to me, why not us in this case? Michigan hasn't fucking played anybody. Georgia, honestly, hasn't looked impressive either. Sometimes people will go off of, and I know Jay alluded to this earlier in his rant right before this, of, okay, we're not giving it to people who won 28 in a row. You know why not? Because Stetson Bennett was the quarterback of that team. Because they had Jalen Carter. That's not that Georgia team. These are isolated seasons. If we're going to go off what people had in the past, then what's the point of ever having a ranking? Because at that point, we just think Clemson should still be ranked high because they used to be good. And they're not anymore. So we got to go off what we've seen in the field this year. And that is why, to me, Ohio State should be ranked high. Ultimately, I think we'll beat Michigan. I think they won't make it. The scandal with Michigan is not going to help their case because ultimately the NCAA is not going to be pressed to put them in there, so they have to keep talking about this. So one loss Michigan will be out. So Michigan better go find a way to win this out. He'll be out. Ultimately, the team I think that may slide their way in, who's not in there right now, I think it's going to be Washington because I think with the strength of schedule and where they're playing, they actually can afford to lose one game as long as it's not a blowout or to get their ass kicked. I think they can afford to lose a game. They may have the Heisman Trophy winner, and I think they'll actually be the team to slide their way in of anybody. The other team for me to look out for in a bad way, actually sitting at where they sitting at 4 right now is FSU. They can't afford to lose shit because ACC looks like shit. So if they look any remotely unimpressive, they will find themselves at home or playing in another New Year's Six Bowl, but not the actual playoff. My resident Notre Dame fan, now that I actually appreciate you for helping my Buckeyes. What's your thoughts on this?
Oh, we should have won that game.
I think personnel out there.
Listen, I know.
I told you, Marcus Freeman played with us.
I know.
He with us.
Yeah. I agree. At first, it kind of threw me off that Ohio State was number one simply because you would think like the 2-time reigning national champions would stay one as long as they stayed undefeated. But I get that Ohio State so far has played a stronger strength of schedule. The rest of the playoff teams have some of their tougher games at the end of their season, including Michigan, Ohio State, which I think will be a big that's going to be, as usual, big deciding game as to who makes it and where everybody slots in. I agree that Washington has the best chance to get in. I think they have a very good chance of going undefeated in this season. And if they go undefeated, I think honestly, like they probably should be in because they're not playing bad teams. But I don't know. So the way I see the whole Michigan-Ohio State thing is this. If Ohio State beats Michigan, Ohio State gets in, Michigan doesn't. If Michigan beats Ohio State, you both get in. I could see that being the case. But I, above all, need to know, John, how do you think this ongoing scandal is going to affect your season?
Well, like I said in our group chat, I was immediately pissed off that Ohio State was number one, as per usual. But after looking at it, they do have a stronger strength of schedule the first 6 games. I mean, they played 2 top 10 teams, beat them both convincingly. Not convincingly, but they showed that they can stand with the 2 teams, right? They can still play good games, and
especially when one coach can't count, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, they won a game. They would have scored that touchdown regardless. But that whole open side of the field says
would have scored anyway.
Come on. Anyways, I think Ohio State should be number one as a Michigan fan, saying that just because of the strength of schedule in the first 6 games. realistically, Georgia's not playing anyone. Michigan didn't play anyone. Michigan didn't need to cheat to win those games. They would have won those games by 4 or 5 touchdowns anyways, because that defense is one of the best defenses in the country. I think that's what I feel the most for this whole scandal and everything that's going on with Michigan is I don't know if the players knew. I don't know, because if coach brings in film and says, here's film, do what you got to do. I don't know. I'm not in that room. I don't. But I feel bad for the players that are busting their ass trying to win a national title, busting their ass, in off-season workouts, doing everything they can to get there. Blake Corum could have went to the draft last year, came back, and now he's, potentially this season's going to have an asterisk. Basically, how I feel about Michigan is they got to win out. They can't not lose. They're done. Because like Paul Fine-Baum said earlier today, there is no – if this ends up coming down as like everything is – they're going to hit them with a bunch of fines, it's going to look horrible for the Big Ten. So I know the Big Ten is not saying anything right now, and the Big Ten is probably hoping Michigan loses at least a couple more games because this is looking terrible for it. Yes, Jamie, I disagree with what you're saying, because if they get in, and I know you're shaking your head on that, but like you're shaking your head at what I'm saying, but like I'm saying is Michigan getting in is going to – it's just going to be an asterisk, right? They're going to avoid the wins from the last 3 years. If this is found true, Harbaugh's going to be let go. We're going to be banned for postseason, and this season will be played for nothing, absolutely nothing. And ultimately,
but until then,
I'm not done with my point. My point is the fact is that we haven't been found guilty of anything yet.
Exactly.
So at this point, we are still innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly.
And number one. Number two, there is something else. And I was yelling on the phone to Mike last night about this because I'm so fucking heated. How do people get game film? They go to the games and they shoot the game. Now, how they get it, like looking at the signs, okay, but they get the signs and they sign stealing's been a part of football forever. All these top coaches have admitted to it. So what's going on here? I know it's different when like you go to the game and they're catching the guy and everything like that, but there's something else that's not being told. It's not adding up to me. All this shit coming out of left, it's just not adding up to me. So there's something else out there that just not being told. And ultimately, I think, Michigan right now is the best team in the country. Go blue. Let's win this natty. Number 3 right now, Trey. Be number 1 in your hearts at the end of the season.
Never gonna be number 1.
I know.
No, Notre Dame will be number 1 in your hearts.
Thinking of teams that I'm surprised that didn't get into the college football playoff rankings this week was Washington. I had them at number 3. I think they are one of the top teams in the nation offensively. Defensively, I think is where they got shunned a little bit because, they're, Pac-12 defense is okay.
Right.
The team I could see sliding in is Oregon, honestly. I could see us in the final year of the Pac-12 seeing 2 Pac-12 teams enter the college football playoff.
Who falls out?
And at this point, I think Florida State, because I think Florida State suffers some sort of dumb loss in the ACC, like a dumb loss where it's like, damn, like when Pittsburgh beat Clemson on a field goal where we thought, oh, Pittsburgh's going to get beat by 50 points and they lost on a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I see FSU and then FSU coming out and those two going in. And it'll be up to either Michigan or Ohio State at that point. I don't think both of them get in. Just because I think of the shaky play of Ryan McCord. You got the best receiver in the game. I'll give you that. But I think the shakiness of that offense, it's just, the defense is top notch. But I think the shakiness, only one team from the Big Ten gets it this year. Jay, go for it.
Mike, I want to hear what's going on first, though. You have something to say.
No, I was just going to say, like I said, for my opinion, it's going to take Michigan losing to Ohio State for both of them to not make it.
I disagree with that. So I think one team from the Big Ten's getting in this year.
Okay. I don't see it that way. Jay, go ahead.
So I'm happy none of you have said this yet because I thought one of you would have picked up on this, but let's just talk schedule for a bit here and we'll see why this is very possible. So Washington's remaining schedule, back-to-back games, USC, Utah. Then they have their rivalry game against Oregon State, but that is always against Washington State to end the season. It's a tough game for them. But right before that, there's Oregon State as well. Not playing that great of football, but if they can get through USC, Utah, I think at that point we know that they're going to be the ones just waiting to get in, and they get in even if Florida State goes unbeaten, because Florida State went and scheduled North Alabama before the Gators game. So they got Pittsburgh, Miami, North Alabama, and Florida, and they'll be favored by probably over 14 points in every single one of those games. So they're going to look at their body of work going into it. They're going to see that the ACC compared to the Pac-12 this year, it's apple and oranges, and it comes down to which unbeaten Washington is going to get there. But I don't think Washington gets there. I think Oregon might win out. I think Oregon will beat them in the Pac-12 championship. But even if that happens, I feel like Texas is going to be the team that jumps everybody.
Oh, they're still one loss, aren't they?
Yeah. And they have that quality one against Bama. So Bama's going to move up as these other teams lose, be it Oregon or Washington. Then Bama starts creeping up. And then Texas is going to stay ahead of Bama because they have the quality win over them. So you're looking at Texas and Bama sitting at 5 and 6 at some point. And people are going to say, well, Texas has the best quality win all year long. If you're looking at all the teams at that point and the top
and quality loss,
right?
I mean, Oklahoma's still a pretty good, solid school, and that's a quality loss in the sense.
I mean, bad loss to Kansas, but I mean, Kansas has been looking like they can beat good teams for the past couple of seasons. So,
beat Oklahoma.
And like Kansas is a team that's been competing, so it's not that bad of a loss being it's on the road.
Right.
And it was with 45 seconds left in the game, so it's not like they went up there and got their ass.
You're right. It was a competitive game. It's not like they got blown out.
Competitive. Yeah, I mean the defense shockingly gave up 38 points, and it's been kind of fit, kind of a little bit of wishy-washy last couple of weeks. But I think it's Texas that creeps in, and Florida State's not the team that ends up in there. I see Ohio State, Michigan, and Georgia in there. I think they want those three teams in there. The one that gets in is the wild card. I'd love to see a Pac-12 team because I think it's the most fun conference this year, if anything. Not the most competitive, but most fun with what's going on out there. I mean, most of your Heisman candidates are sitting out there right now. But I think Texas creeps in.
Yeah, I mean, I totally forgot about them. And they only lost to Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost to Kansas, and, now you got to look at Alabama because Alabama lost to Texas. But it wasn't a blowout. It was a close game. So how do you favor Bama in there if they go win the table and win the SEC championship too? Mm-hmm. So because Saban's always going to have a consideration. When I saw them at 8, I was very surprised. I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, holy fuck, what?
But who should have been ranked over them? Oklahoma, you think? Because remember, both of them are 7-1.
No, I just did. I thought Bama, Bama, I always think gets the first praise at maybe a top 5 opportunity. You know what I mean? Like getting put at the 5 spot in Washington was going to be 6. You know what I mean? So I was just surprised.
It's really because of the Heisman thing. Like you said last week, because of the Heisman bias being so favored that way, you have Bo Nix and you have Penix Jr. sitting there above Bama because of that.
And Bama doesn't have a face this year.
Nope.
No.
Right.
Saban's the face, and he can't win a Heisman.
Yeah, look at that face. Look at that face. Why would I favor that face?
All right, so I've been hearing a lot of rumors previous to the week before about A.J. Brown not being an elite receiver, that Jalen's making him look really good. Well, isn't that the point of the quarterback, to make your receivers look good? But even so, I think A.J. Brown bails out Jalen a lot more as well. So it's a good partnership. I'm not throwing shade on Jalen. I'm not throwing shade on A.J. But A.J. Brown is the top 3 receiver in the league. And if you want to argue with me, go ahead. Let's do it. But 6 games with 125 yards or more. He's got 2 games this season where he has 2 touchdown catches, and he's making catches one-handed in the end zone. He has almost 83 targets this year and 60 receptions. What? Come on now. Really? He's not a great receiver. He catches nearly everything that's thrown to him. He's a glue guy for the Eagles. If we didn't have A.J. Brown, we wouldn't be in contention for a Super Bowl every single year. So put some respect on A.J. Brown's name. He's a top 3 receiver. In my opinion, he's number 1. Sorry, Tyreek. But A.J. Brown for life, brother. He's an Eagle for life. Fly, Eagles, fly. Well, as we move on to talking about rules and rule changes, there's been a lot of controversy over a lot of rules in the NFL and refs tanking games on purpose and in college football. So I'd like to know, fellas, what rule in the NFL or college football would you want to see changed or kind of, moved around?
Cut it. Cut it. Cut it.
What do you think? What do you think, Cut It?
Well, I've always hated this one because it's like sports is entertainment. So I grew up loving celebrations. I hate the excessive celebration rule. I think it's the stupidest freaking rule you could ever implement. You have to let the sport be fun, even at the pro level for the players. If that's their moment to shine, because guess what? You don't know. You don't know who NFL players are because their face always behind a helmet. And they barely show the ones on the sidelines that should get the credit for some of the tackles or the plays that they make. It always goes to the freaking injured quarterback or the coach that's disgruntled or the running back that just made a great play that everybody knows already. So when they get their moment to shine, let them have their moment to shine. I love the team defense celebrations. I love when everybody's rowing the boat in the end zone. I love when everybody's doing like a sprinkle the ball around and everybody falls down. I love that side of the game. And if I'm at a game, I want to see that. I want a moment that makes me connect to the players to make me realize that they just want to have fun too. This is about them expressing their emotion, expressing their joy. Why the hell should you get penalized for that? Even when Antonio Brown jumped on the damn goalpost and humped it and used to put his phone there and do all this stuff, you look forward to something because you're like sending it to you. It's like something crazy is about to happen this weekend. Please score a touchdown. Like you more just wanted that player because you knew might do something crazy to score so you could see what's going to excite you. What are they going to come up with this week? That's the dumbest rule in sports, period. And the NFL needs to just drop that and say, let our players be expressive. Let every young man know that when they come to this sport, they will have their moment to shine and show us whether they're a good dancer, whether they're like, what's homeboy's name? Tight end that used to be at the Dolphins that can't do the gritty to save his life.
Mike Gesicki.
Hey, even if you can't dance, you get to dance, right? So, I agree.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would have loved to be in the day of going to a game with like T.O. or Deion Sanders when he was doing like the high stepping into the end zone. That would have been cool. I just think, you know what? I think it's dumb they flag him for it, but I also think it's dumb that they fine them for it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like, really? You're gonna charge him $2,500 because he did excessive celebration? Come on, man. I think the fining has been, really out of control. Mikey, what do you think?
Yeah, so I first of all, I definitely agree with that. Let the players be the players. Let them have personality. It's going to make your league better on both levels. It's going to make college and pros better. There's a lot of rules I think I would want them to take a second look at, or at least have like some sort of discussion about. And the one that kind of pops into my head is honestly roughing the passer, in the sense that not like, I understand the throwing the flag on, they got rid of the ball 5 seconds and then they get hit. That's you don't need to do that. But how many times a year on both college and NFL levels are we like, what do you want the guy to do? He's in the middle of tackling him. The whole spin thing, they don't want the quarterbacks to get, but they're football players. I get it, they're quarterbacks, but like, it's not like the dude's grabbing him by the helmet and slamming him into the turf. He's completing the tackle. So I would want the leagues, the conferences, the officials to all sit down and go, all right, guys, let's actually iron out what is excessively or really late hitting the quarterback. What is the bare minimum we don't need them to do between completing the difference between completing a tackle on the quarterback as they're getting rid of the ball and, hitting them an hour after they throw the ball. And the whole laying the body weight. What do you want him to do? Float off of him?
Levitation, Holmes.
Levitate? Yeah, he's in the middle of a tackle.
Yeah, Mike, I just pictured in my head, you said like an hour later. I can imagine like Daniel Jones getting ready and getting changed in the locker room. All of a sudden, like, fucking Hassan Reddick just boom.
That'd be a great commercial.
Roughing the pass.
Ref runs in.
Yeah, I was just picturing that in my head. I don't know why.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like
I don't get the roll. Like, I don't get the roll. You're not slamming them. Like,
it's
you're
because
just rolling
they're worried about them
ground.
hitting their heads, but they're worried about them hitting their heads. But like,
they get
if
those big ass hats that they have,
I know,
and make them into a helmet, and then the quarterback will never be able to move.
Yeah, wrap the quarterbacks in bubble wrap.
Yeah,
doing it already.
But like Jay said, they're the most marketable position on the field.
Right.
And they have to project their prima donnas. Like they just have to.
I understand that, but these are grown
I
men.
agree with you 100%. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like we had, I'll say it. There was one on Jalen against the Dolphins. It was like, that's not roughing the passer.
Right.
But a guy came up and like hit him on the shoulder pads as he was trying to throw the ball, and it was roughing the passer. I was like,
right. That's one of the many things. Why is hitting the shoulder pads hitting him high? He didn't touch his head. Like again, it's not like he's punching him in the face.
Yeah,
that would hurt because the face mask, but you know what I mean? Like that's just like, come on, guys, really? Not everything is roughing the pass. He hit him too high. He hit him too low. He hit him too excessively. Football?
He hit him
How do you hit some?
He hit him really late when literally like the ball is coming out his hand.
Right.
And a split second later, he hits him. It's
right.
like, it's bang, bang. Like, what the frick?
I love the Kevin Hart.
Again, what do you want him to do? Just stop?
Yeah.
I love the Kevin Hart on SNL where he's like, no, you put me down too fast. Put me down too fast. Like when they put him down on the pillow, put him with a blanket. Say nice.
Yeah, no, so yeah, that's mine. Trey, what do you got?
For me, it would easily be the rule of pass interference and the way it's officiated in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Pass interference for me, I always like the college way they actually do pass interference. I hate particularly the spot foul of pass interference because it's too many games to get affected. The referee has too much power. No one man should have all that power, as the crazy man Kanye West once said. But you'll get a.
Glad we all went there.
That's our dub version. Since we can't use the real one.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, make it flat. It's too many plays where like a quarterback throws a 40-yard play and then all of a sudden it's a pass interference play and they're like, all right, 40 yards. Then they throw it up again. All right, another 25 yards. Now they're in field goal range. You're like, well, damn, you just flipped this whole game in 2 penalties.
Right.
I like the way college does it with the 15 yards because it just still gives the defense some shot to make an actual mistake. The other thing is, how many times do we see a receiver drop a catchable ball? Nobody guarantees because of pass interference that they're actually going to catch it. Not to mention, and we seen this in the Colts game the other week, we don't even call uncatchable.
Right.
Like, uncatchable. That doesn't exist. The ball could be sitting out here, and I might be Calvin Johnson, and the ball's in the Mars, and they're like, what's Calvin Johnson? He may have been able to get up there.
He might have gotten it.
Oh.
Maybe Calvin Johnson.
700.
Well, Trey, one thing on that is actually funny. I was talking to my dad this weekend about that, and one of the things I was noticing is like if I hate the rule in there that where you have to turn to look to the ball. Well, if you turn to look to the ball, you're already off balance, right? So if the receiver stops and then you run into him, it's like, okay, I get that's clear pass interference, but if the guy's just doing this and running at the guy and then it hits him and then he trips and falls into the receiver, I always see that getting called. I'm like, that's not pass interference. The ball was underthrown, and I agree with you 100% with the uncatchable ball. If they throw it 40 feet out of bounds, it's like, that's not even close. So
he could have climbed.
Well, a lot of your great corners, you use the eyes actually to know where the ball is going. But I'm looking at your eyes. If I'm looking at this, so you got to turn to the ball. And it's like, but what if I can actually not touch you? Use your eyes and look at your hips and figure out where you're going. I don't touch you. What does me looking at the ball have to do anything? Football is based a lot on cues from literally the moment the game starts. You're based on the cue of when he's about to snap the ball. You're looking at the linebacker, is the guard pulling, where everything is about looking at what's happening. But as soon as the DB doesn't look back, it must be pass interference. Why? Because he didn't look at the ball. We don't look at the ball in many things. Like the DB never really has to look at the ball. The linebacker's not having to look at the ball. You're looking at cues. So that makes I agree. It's never made sense to me. Yeah. But John, what rule do you got? I know you are actually part of this question because John has been on like a madman tangent.
Let me predict how this is going to start. Well, there's about like 5 or 6 rules. In fact, like 18. I wish they would change. I can't talk about all of them.
So the one rule that I was going off of is the targeting rule. Ultimately, people have to realize. Obviously, they're not running at 20 miles an hour on the field. So stop taking everything goddamn serious on that. Number one, it's an exaggeration. They are moving at such a quick pace. And people, and Trey and I have talked about, everyone on the screen right now have all talked about this. They want them to tackle, and they show it in slow-mo how to tackle. Like, you got to put your head up, and you got to hit them like this. And it's like, think about what you're saying. Like you want to hit someone like this, like you're putting your neck in more risk. Number one. Number two, there was a play this past weekend on Shiloh Sanders where he clearly shoulder to shoulder hit the guy, and everyone's like, he lowered his head, he connected with his head. People, go watch the replay on 10 different angles that they have it. He never connects with his head at all. And they ejected him from the game. Stop ejecting these kids from the game, man. Now, if it's blatant, you go and review it, and you know it's blatant. Stop reviewing the play at slow speed, too, because that makes it even worse. So the one rule I would like to get rid of is the targeting and the ejection from college football. And then in the NFL, I'd like to get rid of the being fined for it, because going over to Trey, one of his linebackers got fined a whole game check.
Yeah, that's rough.
He gets paid $51,000. He got fined $48,000. Now I get it, right? He still brings home $3,000 a week. To us, that's great, but we're not in that tax bracket, right? So for him, it's like, damn, I was supposed to buy my wife a nice gift tonight or something like that, or what have you. Buy my kids I promised my kid a tour of Disney World on our bye week for that money. So it's like, ultimately, like, stop fining these players for it, because they're just moving at it. And like Ty Vaughn said on the show, none of these players are trying to hurt each other.
Yeah.
Right. There's maybe a very small percentage of players that we can see. I mean, Vontaze Burfict, we can say he was trying to.
Right.
But there's not a lot of players you say, oh, they're a malicious person. They want to just kill someone. No one does. They're playing the game of football. Correct. At this point, you might as well just put flags on the guys, because all you're doing is not allowing anybody to do anything on defense until they get the ball and until they're just perfectly set. And it's really ridiculous in my mind.
I feel like what goes into that thinking is, if anything's going to make them second guess doing what they like, hey, I'm going all out, I'm going to make this play. If anything to make them second guess, like at the last second, let me just hold up a bit, it's potentially losing $50,000, right? So I think
that's how people are hurt.
I think the fine is absolutely ridiculous. So you should have a fixed fine amount. It should just be fixed.
None.
No, I'm just saying they're going to keep it in there because they want the players to feel like, think twice about this.
The thing about that is that's how people get hurt. When you start thinking too much out there, you start trying to pull up. That's where somebody on defense is going to get hurt. And then at that point, they're going to be, oh my God, I can't believe this guy got hurt, because he's going to, oh shoot, I can't afford this.
He's going to hold up on his knees, going to give out the wrong way.
Yeah, and his knees going to give out.
Especially if he's playing at MetLife.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Especially at MetLife. You really don't give up shit.
Yeah, especially with these turfs. I mean, like, and these guys are moving, they're moving at such a quick speed. You got a guy like Tyreek that's running literally 20 mile an hour on the field. All you're trying to do is make contact with them.
So here's a
you know what I
rule.
mean?
If I'm devil advocate, right, and I'm part of the NFL rule league that makes it, I'd combat it with that. Okay, if in one season they get called 3 times for it, on the 3rd time you get fined, would you be okay with that?
I would say it all has to be reviewed, right? Like if he's making – so Shiloh Sanders, for instance, like let's just say that happened in the NFL. The guy for I think the Steelers, I mean, it was Jalen Johnson, right? Or Jalen Warren. I don't know. I didn't see his, but apparently everyone's saying that was a clean hit. And like, I think it has to be reviewed, right? If it's a clean helmet to crown to the helmet, yes, I okay. You slap him with a little penalty. Okay. But if it's a clean tackle and you can tell it's a clean tackle and there's no malintent, there shouldn't be a fine at all.
So they should reverse the fine, but they can't reverse the player getting the ejection.
Yeah, okay. So after a certain amount, so 3 or 4,
at a certain point, you are obsessed, and we start looking at, all right, it's like Draymond Green.
It's becoming a pattern, right?
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point, we say, all right, Draymond Green likes to play with me as balls. That's why he keeps playing down there. We got to fine you or kick you out this game. So, at a certain point, maybe he does. Yeah. At a certain point. At a certain point, well, maybe not Draymond, maybe Dwight Howard, but at a certain point, y'all see the news. Play with me as balls. It's perfectly fine.
It's perfectly fine. You know what? It's 2023. Do
what you want.
And live your truth. Just don't keep it. Live your truth. Be out there. Yeah. But at a certain point, I would probably place that fine. I got one quick side one, and I just thought this. And because I know I kind of threw this topic out there originally. I actually heard this on Bill Simmons' podcast, and he thought a rule change should be that the safety in NFL should be worth more than 2 points. And I started thinking, I said, you know what? I'm not 100% against that because it is a really hard play to commit a safety. The defense has now done something that's really hard to keep you in the end zone, meaning we had to either have the punter get you down there, some form of interception, or a lot of events had to happen to get you right there in time for this one particular special play. So I started thinking, like, maybe the safety at 4 points, would it be ridiculous to have a safety? It doesn't happen often.
Well, think how many games are lost by 4 points.
I know, but it would change so much of a strategy. Even when they get down there, if somebody's like down there, like, oh shoot, I might get a safety, versus saying like 2 points. I don't know. It's just rare, but I don't know if y'all got thoughts on
that would be interesting because then it plays out a little different. Because like when the ball goes over the punter's head, maybe he's not kicking it out of bounds at this point. Maybe he's picking up and just going down with it. You know, I don't know. Or maybe he's trying to pick it up and run with it or whatnot. Maybe he's not trying to kick it out of bounds because we see it too often with that.
Yeah,
so I would say, let's change up the safety to make it a little bit more of an exciting play.
Yeah, offhand, my initial thought was yes. I think it being worth more is good. Not too much more. I would say 3. Make it worth a field goal.
A field goal
worth a field goal,
which I'm not against. I just think 2.
Yeah, but I mean, four isn't excessive, I don't think. But when you said that, my immediate was like, okay, what if I'm going to change it? 3. That was the number that popped into my head because it's.
I can see that because they get the ball back too. So
right. So you essentially you just gave a field goal.
All right, Jay, what do you think? Jay,
I don't.
He doesn't think.
He does not think.
I'm trying not to get injured. Not thinking right now.
He's just here so he doesn't get fined.
Okay, Marshawn.
I mean, look, I stand with you, right? I think the video replay in slow motion makes it worse. I mean, going back to that point, I think your point's really, really smart. Just to go back to that, I think that's a dumb way of looking at it because if you're allowing the officials to make a call on the field and the bang looks one way, look at it in real speed for yourself. And then when you're assessing the fine, then look at it in slow motion. And then at that point, when you look at it in slow motion, you could tell whether the player had malintent or not, and then you decide to fine. There's a lot of ways around where you could really look at it different way. But I love your point there where I feel like it's and Trey's point, when you combine them, maybe they don't realize that that's creating more avenues for injuries. Yeah,
I mean, I just see it, the targeting play as I get why they implemented it because of everything with the CTE and everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that guys don't, but I also think that a lot of guys are not. It's not that they're not thinking out there because they're not. I think they're just playing the game they know and just going, right? And what would you rather have than to take out the guy's knee and potentially end the career of the running back? Like, I would rather see you hit him in the shoulder pads and then, the guy gets up, gets a little, like maybe he has a concussion or maybe he has just a little wobbly, but is good to go, right? Instead of being carted off the field.
Yeah, and I think to a certain extent, there's also the argument in the past that football has policed itself in the sense of like the prime example we always use is Vontaze Burfict, right? As guys that clearly play.
They get singled out. They get singled out. You're right.
And after the famous one is the Antonio Brown hit, the helmet to helmet, where he essentially
changed that man's life.
Right.
He's never been the same since.
Right. He's never been the same since. And you can
plus that was late.
Right. It was late. It changed his entire life, let alone career. And if you look at it in bang, slow-mo, no matter what, that's a headbutt. That's not a tackle attempt. He headbutted him in the helmet.
Yeah.
What? Maybe 2 years later, Burfict's out of the league. Because everybody knows he plays like that. And so no team were at a certain point, teams are like, we're not signing you because you're just going to get kicked out of the game. What's the point of signing you if you're not going to play?
Trey, how good was Twinkle Toes Brown, man? When he was in that, I mean, he made catches that made no sense. Twinkle Toes Brown was the man for like 2 years.
Yeah, he was the best receiver in football without a doubt. I mean, from route running to just being sure-handed, everything he was doing. And that play literally changed it.
Changed
everything.
Ended
up going on to get eliminated because he was out and Le'Veon was out. And at that point, next thing we know, Antonio Brown went from this chill, humble guy to like fur coats and wild hair and crazy comments. I mean, I swear on everything. After that Vontaze Burfict play, it was
never
almost
been
like
the
he was
same.
alone.
Yeah.
that showed up.
I can confidently say from an outside fan perspective, Steelers Antonio, or before that play, Steelers Antonio Brown would have never quit on his team in the middle of the game.
No, he wouldn't. It was a completely different player.
And it wasn't him before that too. It was like before he got back in the league too.
Right.
He was just doing some wild ass shit. Like, and then he got a team up in the AFL and weren't paying them and shit. It was like,
yeah, in
what?
Albany. Yeah, that was awesome.
So
that was a huge story nationally, and it was buzzing around up here. So yeah, I agree. Okay, this time I'm gonna stay a little calmer because I've had time to think about this, but I'm still confused. Brian Daboll, what are you doing? What is with this focus on there's got to be one play and we can't check or audible into anything else, and we're running this one play, and 95 to 98% of the time it's a run play? Listen, yes, Danny can run sometimes. Yes, Tyrod can run. Apparently Tommy DeVito can run. He had that rushing touchdown. But that doesn't mean that they have to run. Yes, you need to give the ball to Saquon more than 10 to 13 times a game, but it doesn't always need to be 35 times a game. You can throw the ball. You just had Joe Shane revamp and reinvent the whole passing offense, bringing in Paris Campbell, bringing in Darren Waller, drafting Jalen Hyatt, who was considered a potential first-round talent of a wide receiver in the right system, which apparently is supposed to be yours, but you don't use him. You had them re-sign Sterling Shepard, and he's on the bench half the time. I don't understand what you're doing, and I don't understand what happened between last year when they had so much success and you seemed to be – you won Coach of the Year. You won Coach of the Year last year because you looked so brilliant, and now you might be the worst coach in the NFL. I don't get it, and as a Giants fan, it's really frustrating. All of the progress last year has been wasted. It's gone. It's over, and I'm sick of it. So you better figure your shit out, because if you don't, you're going to get fired, and we're going to say happy trails just like we did Joe Judge and Pat Shermer and Ben McAdoo. Do you really want to be with those names? I don't think so.
Well, as we move on from injuries, talking about injuries in NFL or in just in general in sports, which player do you feel, was so injury prone that you would love to have him have a second chance at, just his sports career without injuries? Okay.
Are we sticking to football?
Any sport.
No, any sport.
Any sport?
Okay.
So I guess y'all gonna assume I'm gonna go basketball, right? Because that's kind of what I do. I'm not going basketball here. Then you assume I'm going football. I'm actually not gonna go football here. I'm going to Mike's wheelhouse. No, I'm going to Mike's wheelhouse of baseball. This baseball season, I want to shout out a certain person. So this person is a 13-time All-Star, a 10-time Gold Glove winner, and a 1-time AL MVP. But yet, he still could have had a better career, and that would be Ken Griffey Jr. Because the man was so injury prone. If Ken Griffey Jr. had never been injured, I believe he would have been the greatest baseball player in the history of baseball. I truly believe that. So I would love to see him without the injuries. And I'll take a little bit of Mike's wheelhouse. So I took some notes here. In his prime, or one of his prime sessions between 2002 and 2004, Griffey mixed 260 games out of a possible 486 games. So that's a lot missed. But in his actual career, Griffey was only able to play 2671 total games out of a possible 3564. So Griffey missed, and some of these, of course, did not have maybe injuries, maybe rest, but a lot of these are for injuries. So Griffey misses a total of 893 games in his career. Now, let's go to records here. The record, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, is Barry Bonds' 762 home runs. Ken Griffey Jr. is at 630. That puts him at 132 home runs behind Barry Bonds. Let's say, hypothetically, Ken Griffey Jr. only missed half, and I'm saying half of that number I just gave you of 893, and he was able to play an extra 446 games. If he was to hit a home run every 3 games, he would have had an extra 148 home runs, which would have given him a total of 778 home runs, which would have given him 16 more than Bonds. And that's saying even if he would have still had a good chunk of another 400 games missed of injury. That's the type of pace that dude was moving at. So just imagine if he just wasn't, and he had to be completely healthy, just a little bit more healthy. The home run record would have been his, a couple more extra MVPs, probably gets the World Series. Another thing with Ken Griffey Jr., why I think that one is one of the biggest ones because of his influence. Griffey had shoes. Griffey had a video game. He made the home run derby cool. He had the backwards hat like I'm wearing now. When I was a kid and I went outside to play baseball, my batting stance was King Griffey Jr. because I wanted to be like King Griffey Jr. And since then, there was never a baseball player in my life where I was like, I want to be like that guy because he made baseball look cool. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, not to go super racial or anything like that, but as a black kid in America, he made a lot of black kids in my neighborhood want to go play baseball. We didn't see people that looked like us, that played like us, that had a little bit of swagger. And some of us were like, why am I going to play baseball? This doesn't look fun. And that's because maybe we would have had a different feeling if we would have got the full King Griffey Jr. experience. Instead, I'm like, oh, it's 2001, 2002. Michael Vick, that dude looks cool. Donovan McNabb, he looks cool. Iverson looks cool. Griffey was the void that a lot of us did not have. And I think a lot of us didn't finish our baseball careers we might have had because we didn't have Griffey there. Jay,
Griffey would have been great in the early 2000s. I always wish that.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that he was like mostly in the 90s. He was drafted in 88, I think it was, or somewhere around there. 89, 88.
89, I believe. Yeah.
I believe he debuted in 89, yeah.
So, like, we got to miss his entire prime, and then we got him with the Reds kind of in the Mariners. But, Jay, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this is about time where I pay homage to my favorite childhood player growing up who had a career ahead of him that would have been special. That's Anthony Penny Hardaway. I feel like the whole game felt like they got cheated of Penny. Me especially, because, I mean, the guy started off in Orlando and right away, not only does he become one of the only players to beat Michael Jordan when the prime began in the Eastern Conference Series. And yeah, Jordan had taken half the year off to play baseball and golf. So, we knew when he came back the next year, he was going to be a different person. But if you look over the course of his season, I mean, it really just goes so downhill. It's like, why did it have to happen? Only played 2 full seasons in his whole career. And then probably like in his maybe 9th or 10th year, he played 80 games. Other than that, he had seasons where he played 19, 4, 34, 37, 4, 16. And I mean, these are later on in his career, the lower numbers at 4 and 16. But Penny changed the game. Penny had such an electrifying presence without being that way, just because of the way he played the game. He was almost like a hybrid of Jordan and Pippen combined. It's like, how can you combine both those players? Well, defensively, he was that good. He was lanky because he was closer to 6'8" than he was 6'6" like Jordan. And not only was he a great defender on the ball, he was a good defender off the ball like Pippen was. He had every move in the book you can imagine. Iverson might have been one of the only better ball handlers. He finished at the rim like Jordan did. I mean, this guy did it all. Super exciting. He was in that, that Orlando at the time with him and Shaq is thinking like, how's this small town coming in and taking over basketball? You got Horace Grant there, you got DJ, you got Nick Anderson, just a great team. And then all of a sudden you start seeing that he's having that Grant Hill issue with the knees. And once you heard that it was similar to Grant Hill, even though Grant Hill bounced back and really brought himself back to basketball promise, I'm just shaking my head thinking this is it for him. Like, he's just never going to be one of the greatest. And I feel we got cheated of seeing somebody who would have transcended the game at that position, because he even had comparisons to Magic Johnson with his height and his ball handling and his court vision. So, I mean, you're talking about those 3 guys you're comparing him to, Pippen, Jordan, and Magic. We, no pun intended, we lost out on watching some real magic happen while he was with the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, I mean, Penny was definitely great. I saw in the 30 for 30, they were saying, like, if he was healthy in those title runs that they had, they probably would have had one.
At least one. Shaq wouldn't have jumped ship that fast easy. He would have gone to the Lakers eventually, but he wouldn't have jumped ship just like that. So
yeah.
Agreed.
So who you want next?
You.
All right. So this guy, I think we can all agree, was probably one of the most dominant collegiate athletes. We're like, damn, this was going to have a 15, 20-year career pro. And this guy, I always thought, okay, this guy's going to take the torch from Vic. This guy, after Vic went away and everything, I think he was going to take the torch.
Vince.
And that is Robert Griffin III.
Okay.
Listen to these stats in college. He had 10,366 yards passing. He had 78 touchdowns and 17 interceptions total passing. He had 2,200 yards rushing and 33 touchdowns. So he had almost 100 touchdowns, and a third of them were rushing in college. He won the Heisman. He was. I thought him coming out.
Football on the map.
And I was just going to be like, because I remember him. I mean, obviously played for the Redskins and now Commanders. And watching him play against the Eagles, he crushed the defense. He would just run. He would just move. I got to say, Shanahan ruined his career. shouldn't have been playing on his ACL. And I think that's what we got cheated out of, something that would have been special. Because his IQ in football, I mean, we listen to him. Obviously, got crazy takes, but you listen to him talk. His IQ is crazy good in football. I just feel he got cheated out of a great career, partially because of a coach that should have never let him go back in that playoff game, in my opinion. He was.
Well, we lucked out too. I feel. I mean this not in any way to offend the idea that, like, yes, Shanahan messed up, but we were so lucky to watch him and Andrew Luck come into the NFL together, because they had probably the best co-rookie seasons ever. I think I don't recall anything like that. I was really hoping we might see it with Bryce and CJ this year, because I don't think Washington had any great players on that roster, to be honest. He just made the best of who he had on the roster. Lo and behold, the Panthers are at a low point in their rebuilding. So I was hoping for some semblance of it, but when you realize that that's not happening, you understand how special it was to have those two guys.
Well, remember, Russ was also with them as for quarterback.
Oh yeah, he was a 3rd round pick in that.
Yeah, Russ was a 3rd round pick, so you had really.
That's right.
Not the stats, you really had 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw for 3,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions in his first year. And then I'm trying to get his rushing stats. Give me 1 second. His Mike, I think he had a point.
Yards, I would think.
Yeah, he had 815 rushing yards for 7 touchdowns. Like, crazy, right? Like, you're looking at it, it's like, damn. Like, I thought he was just going to be the next Vic. Like, I thought, okay, we're getting this guy who's elusive. And, like, but one thing I got to say is I'm really happy that Lamar got him as his backup, because I think Lamar learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
They're like, look at, man, you can't take these hits anymore.
Right.
Look at me. I was out. We were in the same position.
I was supposed to be.
We're the same person.
Right.
Same height, same build. We ran a 4.40. I just think if we could give him like good knees and go, like, man, it would have been like a 15, 20-year career. He'd probably be in the Hall of Fame. But he's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame broadcasting, because I love his takes on when he does a game, man. Mike, take us away with your take.
Yeah, okay, so Trey kicked us off with baseball, and I completely agree with all you guys. I would have loved to have seen, by the way, all of your athletes. Griffey, sweetest swing I've ever seen in my life.
Easily.
Let's see, RG3 should have been, like you said, should have been a star. And, man, Penny Hardaway, I'm just at that point where I never really got to see Penny play prime ball. I would have loved to have seen it, and I would have loved the Magic to have won a title. But I'm going to end us with another baseball player. As Trey said, it is my wheelhouse. Despite being a Yankee fan, we're going to go crosstown. And I would have loved to have seen the full prime career of David Wright.
I knew.
Yeah. I mean, the dude was, such an underrated third baseman for some pretty good New York Mets teams. By the time they were ready to contend for a World Series in 2015, his back was already completely screwed. I mean, the dude got diagnosed with spinal stenosis when he was like, I want to say 27, and just went downhill. At one point, apparently doctors told him about the 3rd round of like trying to get his back right. They're like, listen, David, your back is bad enough. You're only going to be able to play at most 2 games a week for the rest of your career. I mean, imagine being 30 years old in the prime of your career and being told you can only play 2 out of 7 days of any week, because your back, if you try to do anything else, your back's going to like completely give out.
Yeah.
And as far as, and it kind of goes to Trey, what you said about being kind of an inspiration and what he meant to the game was he was a guy that was always looked at as a leader. He's Captain America. I mean, for the WBC team in 06, he was Captain America. For his leadership, how clutch he was, his ability to rally a team, to represent the game the right way, the way it's, as they say, the way it's supposed to be played. I mean, it's just, especially in the midst of, he comes into the league in the midst of heavy scrutiny over the steroid guys and guys doing steroids and stuff. And he just always seemed to be that clean cut, like, no, I'm the new, like, I'm one of the new faces of the game, and I'm going to lead us into a better future. I'm going to make the game exciting again. The dude had a one-handed catch.
Yeah.
He running into the outfield, laid out and caught the ball barehanded. I mean, I always admired his game and always admired who he was as a person. So yeah, I would have loved to have seen what he could have done and what the Mets could have done if they had him healthy in 2015. If they could, I think they could have beat the Royals if they had him in the lineup, fully and healthy. So yeah, my pick's David Wright.
At first you were saying one-handed catch. I'm like, they do that every single night.
No, barehanded catch.
Yeah, my bad. You said one-handed. I was like, don't they do that? I was thinking in my head, like, don't they?
You're thinking the glove, yeah.
They do that every night, don't they? But no, yeah, David Wright was definitely. I agree with you. I think, he was one of the guys that I had on my list. That we missed out on a lot of great baseball from him. Yeah. He would have helped them immensely with his bat and his play at third. So, 100%.
All right, new segment alert. We got Trey's Corner 3. You're going to see this all year, and I'm just going to have 3 quick thoughts about the NBA and what's going on a weekly basis or bi-weekly. But so far, the Nuggets, it looked like they took that shit personal. A lot of people came out, didn't pick the Nuggets. That includes me. I didn't pick them to come back and to go back to back. And they're taking that personal. Them boys is playing with hella heart. They're out here kicking teams' asses. A lot of times you get that championship hangover. And when you look at the Denver Nuggets, Jokic, Murray, those guys ain't got that. Mike Malone, he gets a little bit annoying at times, but he still got them fellas coming out prepared and ready to play. Moving on from there, we got to look at the Clippers. Yeah, they just made that James Harden trade, and that's all fine and dandy. Some of y'all are getting all excited and shit like that. Who gives a fuck if they got James Harden? Haven't y'all learned your lesson? Go all the way back to OKC in the NBA Finals. James Harden's going to disappear. We go to the Houston Rockets. James Harden's going to disappear. When we go to Brooklyn, he gets hurt. Can't finish there when he goes out there in the playoffs. Ultimately, James Harden is going to disappear. What did he do last year when it got real? He disappeared. So who gives a fuck? Kawhi, he's going to fucking fake an injury or maybe say his elbow hurts and be out. Paul George, I think he does put a good effort in, but he's going to get hurt too. So who really gives a damn about the Clippers? Fuck the Clippers. They're not going to actually win. Let's keep it real. Moving on from there, Big Wendy. He's doing big things. I'm loving what he's saying. I will admit, though, there's been a few shaky calls, and I think the NBA is trying to create their next star, and I'm perfectly fine with that. A lot of our stars are aging. LeBron's getting up there in age. Steph's getting up there in age. You got people like Harden, who I just mentioned, Durant. A lot of these guys are getting up there in age. They need to find the next superstar. I've been seeing a lot of superstar calls from Wemby. That first game, though, there was a couple shaky calls where they didn't do it. But I think Adam Silver made that call, said, all right, y'all got to lay off. Let that man play through some of this stuff because we do need to get our next star ready. But speaking of golf, Steph Curry, great golfer. What I do need y'all to do is go to shankitgolf.com. Check them out. Dope golf gear. Get you ready for the golf season. Christmas time's coming up. Make sure y'all get ready for that. Use that squad, Cinco Squad. That code is going to get you 15% off. So make sure y'all use that. Check it out.
Well, I know what play we like to do every single week, and that is Stomp the Squad.
Yeah, boys. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you if you made it to this point in the podcast. We're here to please you and entertain. It's time for Stump the Squad. That's where we as a squad pretend we don't know every answer to every question. Yeah, we're that good. We just play along with you guys every week. So if you get it right, you get +2. If you get it wrong, you get -2. The Stump the Squad winner at the end of each show gets 1 win tagged on to their name. And at our 100th show, the Stump the Squad member with the most wins gets the grand prize. That grand prize to be revealed on show number 100. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because we are at 83 and counting. And John, you're up there smiling, so I think you have a question you think might stump us this week. Okay. I'm going to go up to your side up there in the north and see if you can stump us all.
I'm going to take it to the ice here.
Yes.
Billy Masinko recorded a hat trick that was the fastest hat trick ever. How fast was it? 30 seconds, 25 seconds, 21 seconds, or 35 seconds?
Just give us the order ascending. 21, 25, 30, and 35.
Yeah. Into the game, mind you.
Right, into the game.
21.
Trey with 21.
Good old Billy.
So not it's like the game started and he had a hat trick by this amount of time into the game, not the span of the hat trick. from the start of the game, he had a hat trick by
I'm
this
sorry.
time.
Yes, the span of the hat trick. So
The
it
span
was
of the hat trick.
From goal 1 to
the
goal
goal
three.
3.
Got you. So not at the start of the game. Okay.
Start again. No, I'm sorry. I said that. My bad.
even more
Sorry.
impressive.
Sorry, you can re-answer if you want.
Nope, we're still 21. I
Okay.
know my guy Billy.
Mike.
Actually, the number 35 did pop into my head when you were reading the question, so I'll go 35. I'll trust the old noggin.
Yeah,
Trust Mike's mind.
37 popped into my head before I got the answers. But for some reason, that 21 seems like he's trying to throw us off. 30 seems a little cookie cutter. I'll go with 25.
I don't think 21 can do something for us.
And I have successfully stumped Jamie and Mike. It is 21 seconds.
Oh wow, nice.
And
Oh, no,
it was against Mike's New York Rangers.
Of course it was. Everything's against the Rangers.
I saw that. I was like, I have to do that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take it over, Mr. Ranger. Mr. Ranger. Mr. Ranger.
No, keep going. Okay, so we
That's good,
discussed rules today, did we not? Well, I have a question based on sports rules for you guys. Which of the following is not, I repeat, not an actual rule in sports?
Oh, bitch.
Not. So again, not. You're looking
Okay.
for the one that isn't real. A, no playing polo left-handed. B, no catching a baseball in your hat. C, NBA players cannot sub back in for 30 seconds. Or D, no pulling the goalie in overtime in the NHL. I can read them. I know it's a lot, so I can read
I'm going to
them
go with the NBA one.
The NBA one is you can't sub in 30 seconds.
Once you sub out, you have to wait 30 seconds to sub in.
Yeah.
I'm going NBA.
What was the first one?
No playing polo left-handed.
I'm going to NBA.
I figured Jamie get the polo one.
Like
got
polo.
words.
We're
Like
talking
polo
about
on the horse.
On a horse.
Yes.
You're like Ralph Lauren.
Yes. I mean, it is.
No picking the shirt out of the rack left hand.
Yeah, no picking the shirt out of the rack left.
Yeah, I think about nice collared shirts, nicely ironed and pressed.
I'm going to go with no polo left-handed.
Okay. So we've got 2 for the NBA players cannot sub back in for 30 seconds and 1 not playing polo left-handed. Today I have successfully stumped Jamie. It is the one that is not real is the NBA player subbing in. But that does.
Damn it! I read that. Sorry, I mixed that one up. I thought it was the one. I went for the one that
Is real.
Yeah.
Yes, but that does also mean that yes, you are not allowed to hold your mallet in your left hand in polo.
Mm-hmm.
You are not allowed by rule to catch the baseball in your hat.
I knew that.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently, from what I read, if you do, by the letter of the law, the umpires have to give the batter third. You get 3 bases.
That's what's up.
And
like,
in the NHL,
catch it with your hat.
right?
And
In the
run
NHL,
bases.
you are not a pet. From what this is all based on what I read. In the NHL, you are not allowed to pull the goalie in overtime.
Mm.
If you do, you forfeit the point you get for getting through regulation without the loss. That is what I read today. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's wild.
All right. Who's next?
Jay, I apologize that the confusion got you, but let's hear what you got.
That's okay. So Josh McDaniels is the latest of many Raiders coaches that have been fired over the last couple of years. And in total, they've actually had 88 coaches fired in midseason in the history of the NFL. But my question today leans into the last 23 seasons. So since the year 2000, how many NFL coaches have been fired in the middle of an active season? Is it 28, 34, 35, 37? How many NFL coaches since the year 2000 have been fired in the middle of an active season? 28, 34, 35, or 37?
28.
34.
34 for Trey.
Jamie, what was that last one? 30 what now?
7.
Screw it. 37.
I have successfully stumped Mike and John. The answer is 34.
Yes.
I said that. No,
On fire.
And so if you do the math on that, that means from the inception all the way to 2000, only 44 got fired. And then the last 22 seasons.
The last 20. Yeah.
Hey, 2 a year. Let's just get rid of that.
That's just, yeah. Patience is wearing thin in the NFL.
Well, fellas, with this
I mean,
week's
how is
Stumps,
your answer, Mike?
what Stumps the Squad's winner this week would be Trey, unanimously. No one can tie him and when he goes. So Trey is week 83 winner, and now he's up to 4 wins. But I'll let you ask your question anyways.
It's good.
Yeah, let's ask anyways. Let's have some fun here. Okay, so we see a lot of brothers in the NBA, a lot of siblings. That's a big thing. But let's talk about twins.
Oh, boy.
How many twins have played in an NBA game? We have 4, 6, 8, or 10.
At the same time or just in the game?
Just have ever played in the NBA. Not necessarily.
Okay.
Just have made an appearance in the actual NBA game.
4, 6, 8, or 10.
Yeah.
6.
Okay, we got 6 for John.
I can only think of one. These are total people or pairs?
Pairs. These are pairs of twins,
Okay.
not total. Yeah.
4, 6, 8, or
2
10.
twins, Mike. 2 twins.
Twins, Basil. Twins. I'll
go with 4.
Jay's going 4. John's going 6.
8.
And Mike's going 8.
And
So,
it's 10.
today, I have successfully stumped John and Jamie.
Yay, I got one right.
Yep, so the answer is 8. I'll read you the twins real quick. Because honestly, most people probably wouldn't know or realize.
I only know one pair.
Who's your one you know?
The Grant brothers.
Lopez's.
The Lopez's and
The Morrises and the
Oh, yeah, the Morrises.
And the
Morris,
Thompsons.
Lopez, Grant, and I can't remember who I thought the fourth
Oh,
one was.
okay. So actually, you got multiple active at this moment. Actually, okay.
And
So
Thompson. Sorry.
yeah. So going back, we have Dick and Tom Van Arsdale. Never heard of them.
Oh, them.
Those guys. Okay, so we have Horace and Harvey Grant, Jason and Jaron Collins,
The
Brooke and
Collins.
Robin Lopez,
Damn it.
Marcus and Markeith Morris,
Mhm.
Min and Ashur Thompson, who just got drafted,
Oh, yeah.
Caleb and
Right.
Cody Martin, who are currently
Mhm.
active,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the Martin twin, and then also Chris and Keegan Murray.
Damn it.
They're twins?
I forgot about the Martin twins.
Yeah.
That would have made me
Brittany
just 6.
See,
The one was in the NBA first, so everybody doesn't think about it. because
yeah,
they-
no, I was going to say, I got thrown off by the fact that Chris was
Damn.
in the league first.
And the twins that got drafted this year. I didn't even count them.
Thompson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those because I saw those 2, and I was like, "Oh, how many twins do we got?" And I was like, "What, the other 2 twins?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, how many twins in the league?" So
honestly,
yeah.
I only thought of the Morris brothers and the Thompson, and then like I was like, there had to be a few other, and then I thought
Yeah.
Lopez. I was like, there probably 3 more. So what was the right answer? 8.
It was 8. Yeah, 8 twins are
Good
playing.
shit, Mike. All right,
Yeah,
week
constantly.
83 champion again. I will say is Trey, and that's 3 in a row, right? Or is it 2 in a
I
row?
think 2
No,
in a row.
you won.
in a row.
You won.
2 in a row, 4
So
overall.
and I will graciously get on the big screen and say I was completely wrong, everyone. I have 1 win. I was trying to give myself 2. And Mike, our statistician up there,
You
got
mean
me wrong.
you tried
what's
to take
the
away
score?
one of my tiebreak wins? Get out of here.
Scores.
So
Get out
our
of here.
scores are. I'll let Mike take it away.
All right, our leaderboard currently stands at Jamie, still leading with 5. Trey, nipping at his heels with 4. Me, kind of waving at both of them going away at 2. And John standing 1 step behind me, waving as they leave at 1.
I'm on the beach.
I'm here. John and I trying to figure out what we're gonna do while Jamie and Trey go off and compete for the prize.
Always play soccer on the beach.
I'm over here.
I'm over here. That's what I was trying to think about it. Thank you. Well,
Good job.
fellas, week 83. We got 17 episodes to our champion, but sports is heating up right now. Can't wait for college basketball. I'm very excited for that. Any final thoughts going into the weekend?
Yeah, barn burner in Atlanta this weekend. Make sure you stay tuned to that game on Sunday.
Let's see. The Giants are trash. The Rangers are okay. Let's go Irish, and then eventually let's go Heels.
No love for the New York Knicks being 2-2, huh?
Listen, I'm slowly getting into the Knicks.
And make sure you go comment on this or any of our clips and let us know what team Trey in the NHL should like.
Yes.
So
make sure you let us know who you like.
Make sure it's this team.
Yeah, make sure you shout out to that. Shout out to the Rangers in the World Series. Yeah, shout out to them. So, yeah.
Well, we congratulate the Texas Rangers on a great season in the World Series champions. We'll see you guys here.
It was a boy that was commenting on our page saying that we don't know what we're talking about, and he's agreeing with John with the Diamondbacks. Where he's at? Hey, where you at, bud?
Yeah,
where you at? Get in our comments page. Come and tell us we don't know what we're talking about. Rangers in 5, baby. On this show, called it. Where you at?
I tried to be generous.
I'm gonna go find that guy.
I tried to be extra.
Section talking shit.
Make sure you tune into the show next week, episode 84, where I finally get back on the leaderboard with my second win. And we'll see you here next week. Cinco Squad out.